You believe you're standing on solid ground, right? You believe you're moving through a fixed world of time and space. But what if all of that is wrong? What if the ultimate lesson being taught by spirituality and science is that you are not inside the universe is inside you? Today we're diving into a theory that challenges physics, rewrites philosophy, and confirms ancient wisdom. The theory of biocentrism by Robert Lanza. It's the radical idea that consciousness does not emerge from the brain. Time and space are tools of the mind, and the world comes from the inside out. To be clear, biocentrism isn't mainstream physics, and it's not claiming to be the final word in quantum theory. But it is a bold philosophical model that takes seriously the idea that the physical world is not a set of independent, solid objects. The double-slit experiment shows that particles behave like waves, passing through multiple openings until they are measured, at which point they become a single definite particle. This doesn't prove that human consciousness collapses the wave function, because in quantum physics the observer is any interaction that transfers information. So this could be a detector, a photon, or some kind of measuring device, not necessarily a human mind. Lanza looks at these mysteries, the role of measurement, the lack of fixed properties of a particle before it's measured, and the way space and time behaves, and proposes something more radical. Reality and perception can never be separated. Space and time are not external containers, they are part of the mind's operating system. This isn't scientific fact, but it is a metaphysical model that proposes that time is the way that the mind arranges change, space is the way that the mind arranges objects, and without a conscious experiencer, these categories don't have any meaning. And this idea echoes the world's oldest philosophies. Hinduism says that the world of time, space, and form is Maya, a mental overlay. Buddhism says that objects lack intrinsic existence and arise only in dependence on perception. Taoism sees the world as a flowing, single, indivisible Tao. Hermeticism claims the all is mind. Biocentrism offers a modern way of looking at these insights. The world is not a cold machine. The universe is appearing within consciousness. And what we call matter is an appearance arising within experience, not something separate from it. This doesn't conflict with physics. It just addresses a question that physics hasn't been able to answer. Why is there a universe that is experienceable at all? Biocentrism says it's because consciousness comes first. It's not proven and it's not required by quantum theory, but it is a framework that aligns profoundly with the world's mystical traditions, and also with our own personal direct experience. In the opening of his book, Donald Hoffman put it beautifully with a quote from Galileo. I think that tastes, odours, colours and so on reside in consciousness. Hence, if the living creature were removed, all these qualities would be wiped away and annihilated. Colour, sound, temperature, taste, none of these things exist in the external world. For example, sound is a conscious experience. It's not something that exists out there. The old question, if the tree falls in the woods and nobody is around to hear it, does it make a sound? Well, according to Galileo and to modern neuroscience, the answer is no. When a tree falls, it creates vibrations that silently move through the air until they reach an eardrum, and then electrical signals are sent to the brain, and then the mind creates the experience of sound. And this is what Advaita Vedanta has been teaching for thousands of years. Vedanta says that the world of form, objects, space and time, are Maya, an illusion. And that doesn't mean it's fake, it just means that it is misperceived. Maya is created when consciousness looks through a human mind, and behind that is Brahman, the infinite, single awareness from which everything arises. The Upanishads say all this is Brahman, the one appearing as many. And biocentrism says the same thing, just in more scientific language. Consciousness is primary, and matter appears within consciousness, not the other way around. Rupert Spira also puts it very nicely. He says, matter is the way consciousness appears to itself, when it is viewed through the prism of a finite mind. Buddhism also resonates with this, because if particles do not exist with fixed properties until they are measured, this sounds a lot like the Buddhist concept of shunyata, or emptiness. That's because emptiness isn't nothingness. It means that nothing exists independently. Nagarjuna wrote, "There is no phenomenon that exists independently. All arise in dependence." Quantum physics says that particles do not exist in a fixed state until they are interacted with. And Buddhism says that things do not possess inherent independent existence. Both traditions point to a world that is not absolute but relational, and a world that the observer is tied to the world because everything is interdependent. And in the West we find the same idea. Hermeticism says that all is mind, everything is mental. That means that everything arises within consciousness, not outside of it. Gnosticism speaks of the pleroma, the fullness of pure consciousness, from which everything arises. For the Gnostic mystics, this physical world is not the final reality. It is a veil that hides something more deep and more meaningful. Again, biocentrism mirrors this. Consciousness is fundamental, matter is derivative, and space and time are appearances, they're not absolute. If ancient wisdom and quantum mechanics are converging in one place, this is it. Consciousness is fundamental. And the biggest shift in non-duality is that you are not in the universe is appearing in you. If you want to hear more about why the world exists from a non-dual perspective, then watch this video next.